Bernie Sanders has now been asked twice in two interviews whether or not he's going to run in 2020. And both times he said yes, as a politician would say yes. He did not say no, and he heavily implied that, yes, that is what I'm doing. I'm running for president for 4 years on the Democrats' dime. And by the time I do it, my approval rating will not only be 72% or whatever it is now, it's going to be close to 80, and you're not going to be able to stop me. And he either is really going to do that, it's what he's saying without saying it, or he wants them to believe that he will do it so that he can hold some kind of a ransom over them. They're like, look, I could do this if I wanted to. I'm not a senator who only has a 6% in the polls anymore. I would fucking start out the leader. You'd have to catch up to me. So, he has that pull, other than the fact that they know they could just off him. So it's a ballsy move, honestly. Because, if I'm thinking it, a toothless guy from Missouri, somebody else is thinking it too. So the man has balls of steel, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that's what he's doing. I think that's what he's been doing since they fucked him over. It's really the only thing he could have done is just hang on to his popularity, try to get the best seat he can in the Democratic Party as far as outreach. He couldn't be any better than that. So he's always the one on TV. He's always the one they're sending out to talk to people or do tours. It's brilliant. So now everyone knows who the fuck he is. So by 2020, as a volunteer for Bernie's campaign, that was one of our biggest problems, was that people didn't know who he was. You had to spend the beginning part telling people who you were even talking about. This guy that gets called a sheepdog, even though he's one of the only people I see working for us at all, or talking about any issues that are important to us in a way with some backbone, not just making sound bites like Elizabeth Warren. But you've got Bernie Sanders busting his ass for us all the time. I feel he is. And these people just want to beat the shit out of that old man because he didn't die for you. Well, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. They'd have killed that man, and you know it. And he's got balls of steel. The fact that he goes around and talks about an oligarchy on TV at all, that's courage, man. They could shut that dude up whenever they wanted to. But at this point, they would create a martyr. And that's his strength, man. If we need to unite behind that man, honestly. That's your only ally in politics right now that I see. I don't see another political ally other than Bernard Sanders. That's the only one I see doing anything that I support. Not that I support everything he fucking does, but you're never going to get that. That's unrealistic. I'd rather be realistic and live in reality and play by reality's rules than hope for perfection. Because if I can't offer it, I'm not going to expect it out of anyone else, and I can't offer perfection. I let myself down from time to time, is what I mean. So how can I hold Bernie Sanders above that standard? I can't even meet that standard myself. Plus, you don't always know what the motives were behind everything the man does. You don't know what happened. You actually don't even have all the information. So hating Bernie is just really stupid, because what you really hate is your opinion of what you think happened. You don't even know if you're right. But to bring this back to a happy point, every time Bernie is asked now, he's been asked twice in two interviews in the last week, whether or not he's going to run for president in 2020, he did not say no. And he heavily implied that he was. It's just too early to talk about that. As far as I'm concerned, that was a political yes. That's as close to a yes as you're going to get out of a politician. And Bernie's not a stupid man. He's at least using it as leverage, making them believe he'll do it. Because it's a threat now. He's got, a 72% approval rating in this country? He's the most popular politician by far. By far. He's a huge name now. He's a household name. And all the Hillary supporters, they're not mad at him because he did what he said he was going to do. You know how often I hear from Hillary supporters, that old man has integrity. He came out even though you guys wouldn't follow along, and he tried to tell you to vote for her. How many times has it gotten thrown at you in an argument with somebody that Bernie told you to vote for her and you wouldn't listen? They don't hate the man because the man did what he said he was going to do. Now his integrity is going to pay off, and he's going to be unstoppable if we get behind him. But it will take millions of us getting behind him. He will never be able to do this by himself, ever. The man is not a demigod. He's just got that magic that inspires people. And if we don't put millions of people behind that magic, it's powerless. Oh, yeah. Kathy, I think they'll either try something like, I hope not that, but they are going to try some rigging, and they're going to try some shit. Trust me. But even if they unseated Bernie in 2018, even then, he'd still be able to run in 2020. His chances may even be better, and he'd definitely be People's Party. He's going to have to eventually do that anyway, because here's the other part of my theory. They're still going to fuck him. You know, whether they fuck him with Joe Biden or whoever they're going to fuck him with, they'll do the same thing again. It might not be Hillary Clinton again, but they'll do the same thing again. He'll win and they'll rig it. So when they do, I think this second time, though, he's going to break off. Because if he'd have done it the first time, they'd have painted him as Crazy Bernie. Well, now Crazy Bernie did all the right things. He supported Hillary. He did everything he said he was going to do. And he let you do it your way, and you got Donald Trump just like he fucking said you would. So time number 2, he's not going to fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, no. So he'll be able to break off now, and everyone will understand, hey, that man tried to do the right thing 100%, and it didn't work. So we're going with that dude. And you think these Republicans like the balls on Trump? Wait till Bernie does that shit. He's already popular and he's already working these states. He's already going to West Virginia and Kentucky and all these fucking states and talking to these Trump supporters that are realizing that they got took for fools. And he's helping explain to them how it happened. So by the time 2020 rolls around and he shows some balls, you're going to see a flood. As long as we stand behind that man united, we will win. It would take how would they pull off election rigging with that many people behind that dude? How are you going to fake that shit without causing an armed uprisal? You wouldn't be able to. Nobody's going to believe you. Fucking 80% of the country's going to vote for the man. He's got like a 70-something% approval rating right now. Dyer says superdelegates. I'm telling you, the Democratic Party is going to do the exact same thing to him they did to Hillary. With Hillary. They will screw him over again, but I think my opinion is at that moment or right before it, Bernie will break off and go People's Party. Because now it'll be harder to paint him as Crazy Bernie. Who already did what, Lisa? What'd they already do? I don't really know what she means, so I'm going to finish my statement. So it's going to make more sense for him to break off the second time because he did everything they wanted the first time. And they got Donald Trump, just like he told them over and over that they would. Or his campaign manager on TV many times. Look at us in the polls and look at Hillary in the polls. We beat Trump. Over and over he told them. But even though they wouldn't listen, he did everything he said he was going to do. Oh, yeah, Lisa, they admit it. So, yeah, even these people, they're not going to be mad at Bernie. You see what I mean? Because the Democrats have now admitted multiple times that they rigged the primary. So everyone now knows that Bernie's your rightful president. So when it comes time for Bernie to break off from the Dems, which I think he will do, that's my prediction. When the timing is right. Right now, he's Democratic Outreach Chair. He's in a perfect spot to build his name and to keep his name out there. Every once in a while, he might have to say something he doesn't agree with, but that's part of the political game. And as far as getting your hands dirty, that's pretty minor. So having to go along with Russia or whatever, that's okay. That you can still go out and talk to these people in Kentucky and West Virginia for free on the Democrats' dime and run for president for 4 years. It's fucking brilliant. If I'm right. And I'm wrong all the time, but I feel right. This one I would bet on. This one I would bet something I love on. I really believe that's what the man is doing.